want me to see how much I read in a week. Now, I read over 100 books last year, so do with that information what you will. However, this video I feel like is going to be a little bit different. I started a new job. Now, this is a corporate 9 to 5. And with this new job, it opens up a lot of time for me to listen to audiobooks. I think I listened to more audiobooks last week than I did in the entirety of 2025. So this is going to be an interesting video. I'm curious to see how much I can read this week. Now, today is Monday. I'm currently in the middle of many books. This morning, before I got out of bed, I read some of Easy as Pie by Karina Taylor. This is book 5 in the Sweater Weather series, I believe, which is a cutie, clean romance series that takes place in the town of Harvest Hollow, so it's all cute, fall themed. I was just really wanting a cutie little romance, which is why I picked up this one. I read about 38 pages of that this morning. I was supposed to go to the gym. Didn't do that. I'm actually reading that on my phone because my Kindle is currently in airplane mode because I don't want to lose my library loan of the Grimoire Grammar School Parent-Teacher Association. I've been reading that book for like 2 weeks and I think I'm only about 40% of the way through it. For some reason I'm just like not really getting into it. I don't know, but it's taking me so long that I had to put my Kindle in airplane mode so I didn't lose it. Yesterday I finished reading my physical book that I was in the middle of, so I kind of want to start another one. I like to always have a physical book that I'm reading. I have a couple library loans that I need to read, so I probably will pick up one of those. And then my audiobook. I'm currently working my way through the Heroes of Olympus series by Riordan. I read the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series last summer, so I'm kind of like making my way through the Riordan universe. And right now I'm on the Mark of Athena. I think I'm about 50% of the way through that. So I'm currently in the middle of like 4 different books. Oops. So let's see how much I read this week. Good morning. It's now Tuesday. So yesterday I listened to about 40% of the Mark of Athena. I listen on 2 times speed because that's just how my brain works best when it comes to audiobooks. By the time I went to bed last night, I was at like 90% of that book. Once I finished work, I had a couple minutes before I needed to go to my Bible study, so I started a new physical book. I started reading The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey, which is the 2nd book in the 5th Wave series. I read about 22 pages of that. And then before I went to bed, I read like 10 more pages of Easy as Pie by Karina Taylor. So I read like a total of like 30, no. How many pages did I read yesterday? I said I read like 38 pages of, so I read like 48 pages of Easy as Pie yesterday. And then 22 pages of The Infinite Sea. So I read about 70 pages yesterday and listened to about 40% of my audiobook. Now it's now 6:30. I've already gotten up, made my bed, read my Bible, been to the gym. Now I'm getting ready for work because I leave for work super early. I leave at like 7:15 to get there at about 7:45-ish. But while I was at the gym walking on the treadmill, I finished listening to the Mark of Athena. I am really enjoying these books right now. They are so funny. I don't remember the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series being as funny as this, and maybe it's just because we're focusing on more characters who have like more unique personalities and they are funny in their own right. There's a satyr, his name is Coach Hedge, and he is just making me laugh because he just runs around everywhere. He's like a middle-aged satyr. And he just like runs around wanting to fight everything all the time. Oh gosh. Like something happened obviously at the end of the Mark of Athena. And he's all sad about it. And he's like, if I had just blown more things up, this wouldn't have happened. And it's like, dude, no. Like, that's not how things work. I think this still would have happened if you blew more things up. So now I'm going to start House of Hades today at some point. I'm not sure when. And we'll see how much I can get rid of that. I could probably listen to about 30% of that. The Mark of Athena, that's my 3rd audiobook in a week. I've read. Oopsies. That's why I just filmed my February wrap-up yesterday. I think my March wrap-up's gonna look very different than my February wrap-up because so far it's the 10th of March and I've already finished 4 books, 3 of those being audiobooks. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's many hours later. It's 10 p.m. actually. I am home from work, obviously. Had dinner, just kind of chilled. I took an everything shower and did a new hair wash routine that I'm super excited about. Anyways, so that kind of took up most of my time post coming home from work. But all that being said, I did start listening to The House of Hades today, and I'm currently 33% of the way through that book. Oops. Anyways, I'm about to get in bed, and I think as I'm falling asleep, I'm going to read a little bit of Easy as Pie. I didn't read any of the Grimoire Grammar School, the Infinite Sea, none of those. It was just audiobooking today. I'm not mad about it. So it's Friday. I didn't film anything yesterday. I have had kind of a really busy week, so there's just kind of been zero b-roll, zero anything other than like the updates that I've been giving. But what did I read on Wednesday? I think I said in my last update that I was about 30% of the way through The House of Hades, maybe the 4th book in the Heroes of Olympus series. Well, I got to about 70% on Wednesday, and that was really the only thing I read. I didn't get home until like 10:45 on Wednesday, so I didn't read anything else other than what I listened to while I was at work on Wednesday. Thursday, I finished listening to The House of Hades. I had about 30% of that left, and then I also listened to the entirety of The Demigod Diaries, which is a little novella, a little collection of different stories in the Heroes of Olympus series. And then today, I currently have a hold on The Blood of Olympus, but it has not yet come in, and I don't really feel like waiting for that. So today I started listening to The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther, because that's been on my TBR for years at this point, and that one I could get immediately, so I started listening to that. How many books have I finished this week? I finished listening to The Mark of Athena, The House of Hades, and The Demigod Diaries. 3 books that I've finished this week. Anyways, it's now Friday night. It's 10:15. I am already in my pajamas, hair washed, skincare done. I am gonna get in bed and read for a little bit. I probably won't last very long. I'm exhausted, but I do just kind of want to take a little bit of time to read some more of The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. I'm on page 33 of this. So I think I read like 11 pages at some point, but I don't really remember when that was. It's been a while since the last time I read The Fifth Wave. I believe it was the fall of 2024. And this book so far this book has been in a different character POV than we got in The Fifth Wave. So I'm just having a little bit of trouble kind of like remembering what all happens in this world. I mean, for like the first chapter, I didn't even know who the character was that we were getting their point of view from. I have been doing a little bit of like Googling when I'm like, I don't remember this character and like what they do. So we're gonna do some more reading of this. Not as involved as I had wanted it to be. I'm still trying to find the balance of filming reading vlogs during my work week. We'll get there. Anyways, on Saturday I went to the library, and while I was there I read about 60 pages of The Infinite Sea. I'm getting more into that book now. And then I read some of the Grimoire Grammar School. When I say some, I literally mean like 10 pages. And then on Sunday I read about 15 pages of Easy as Pie as I was falling asleep. So this week I finished 3 audiobooks. I'd say that's pretty good for, you know, my new schedule, my new lifestyle, I guess. So that is an average what I read in a week at my new job. I'm interested to see how this changes as I settle in more to this job, as I get more into the swing of things. But that is all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoy this type of content. Comment down below what you read last week, and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content in the future. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!